Howdy, folks. I'm wearing a Mothman shirt because today we're talking about cryptids. Welcome to Sid's State Spooks, a new series on my channel where we are going to explore the unknown creatures of the good old US of A. I was originally going to include ghost stories and urban legends as well, and while they might make an honorable mention list at the end of the video, I don't really find orb caught on camera in a supposedly haunted playground very interesting. I'm more interested in unknown creatures and sightings of unknown creatures than I am of like haunted bridges and stuff. Today we are going to explore the cryptids and creepy crawling critters of the 22nd state, the heart of Dixie, Alabama. So sit back, turn off the lights if you're feeling brave, grab some popcorn, and get ready to hear about the monsters of Alabama. In and around the counties of Morgan, Etowah, and Jefferson, a creature known as the Alabama white thang has been reported lurking in the forests since the early 1900s. Although descriptions of the Alabama white thang do vary drastically from case to case, it is... Beans, do you mind? Caught on camera. Caught in 4K. You should be ashamed of yourself. Although descriptions of the Alabama white thang vary drastically from case to case, it is generally accepted that the Alabama white thang is very tall, around 7 to 9 foot tall, covered in thick white fur and walking on 2 legs. Some even report that it has glowing red eyes.
Hey, this is Editing Sid. I just realized that I forgot to mention that a few of the sightings actually describe the creature as half kangaroo with the head of a cat, so I just thought that was pretty interesting. If you're wondering what that looks like, it looks something like this. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Appearance-wise, it's actually quite similar to the Yeti of the Himalayas or the Bigfoot of the Americas. If I let you go, will you stop terrorizing me? Okay, I'm gonna trust you. You'll know that the beast is near because of the foul stench of rotting corpses that almost seems to cling to its fur. If you don't smell it, you might actually hear its ear-piercing screech that has been described as that of a human woman. Witnesses say that the Alabama white thang is actually incredibly fast despite its large frame. It drops down onto all fours when it feels like it needs to run away and can just bolt, be gone in an instant. It is so fast. One of the first ever recorded sightings of the Alabama white thang was from a man who was napping in the woods for some reason. He was resting his eyes, ended up falling asleep, and when he awoke, he looked beside him and saw the creature. The creature was curled up next to him and staring at him with his glowing red eyes. The man said that the beast showed no signs of aggression or any act of wanting to hurt him, so he was able to escape unharmed. And that actually rings true for all the stories that I've found of the Alabama white thang. It is not a very aggressive creature. It's never been described as dangerous in any of the accounts that I could find during my research, so I'm going to assume that it's a pretty docile creature, just a hairy guy in the woods who wants to be left alone. I found this article where they actually interviewed someone whose grandfather grew up in Alabama and would tell him stories of the Alabama white thang. His grandfather would see the Alabama white thang all the time growing up in Alabama, and he said that he described it as kind of like an albino Sasquatch or something with red eyes and long fingernails. Another person in that same article claimed that according to their family's stories, the Alabama white thang has been around for quite a long time. According to one of the stories in this person's family, one night in the 1930s, an uncle was out hunting with his hunting dogs when they came running back to him, whining with their tails tucked between their legs. You know, the hairs on the back of their body were stood up, so the uncle decided to cut the trip short and go home. The uncle tried to take his dogs home with him, but on the way there, he decided to look behind him, and that's when he saw the Alabama white thang stalking him, following him. So this man did the right thing and ran all the way home. When the uncle made it home, he told his family that a white thang had been following him, and I think that's where the name came from, Because of the southern accent, white thing is pronounced white thang or something like that. Along those lines, southern accents be like. So at the end of every single cryptid, I'm going to try to give it a score out of 10 based on whatever the fuck I want. The Alabama white thang, it just kind of sounds like an albino Bigfoot to me, and that's actually how it's been described multiple times I found during my research. And yeah, it's just a white Bigfoot. Seeing as I'm from the Northwest, I see a lot of Bigfoot stuff, and I've kind of grown tired of it. I don't really like Bigfoot. Sorry. So with that being said, I think the Alabama white thing is gonna have to earn a 3 out of 10 for me. Not very interesting, kind of a pussy, lame. Moving on to the next What is that? What is this? It was my fax machine giving me a fax, and it says it's from the Council of Creepy Cryptids. That is a totally legit organization that I didn't found myself on my Snapchat story like 3 days ago. The main goal of the CCC is to rate cryptids. Isn't that crazy? The council gave the Alabama white thing a slightly higher score than I did. It actually reached a 6.58 out of 10. Some of the comments include 7 out of 10, needs bigger boobs. 4 out of 10, Sasquatch's racist brother. 6 out of 10, loses points for being stinky. You heard it, folks. The council has spoken. Okay, let's move on to the next cryptid. Our next cryptid is known as the Wolf Woman of Mobile. I also saw it be referred to as the Wolf Woman of Davis Avenue, or Davis Avenue. But I don't like that. And also, I only saw that like 2 times, so I'm just going to call it the Wolf Woman of Mobile. This creature was only reported to have been seen during the first few weeks of April 1971 by the citizens of Mobile, Alabama. It was described by those who saw it as a wolf-like creature with the upper half or head, I saw it both ways, it could be upper half or it could just be the head of a woman with long flowing hair and the lower half of a wolf. It was covered head to toe in thick, coarse hair. Like I said, the reports of this wolf woman only happened during the first few weeks of April during one year, 1971, but unlike the docile Alabama white thing, this creature reportedly stalked and chased people in the dead of night. That is terrifying. The press and police of Mobile got around 50 calls over the course of these few weeks, reporting that they've seen the creature. One person described it as a woman and wolf, pretty and hairy. Another witness was quoted as saying, "My daddy saw it down in a marsh and it chased him home. Now, mommy keeps all the doors and windows locked." Tons of rumors began to circle around the town as to what they could have been witnessing, including one that said that the Wolf Woman of Mobile was an escaped sideshow attraction from the circus, which I think is kind of funny. Police would never come out with an official statement clarifying what exactly the people of Mobile were seeing, but they did reportedly do some digging and investigation, although nothing really came of it from what I could read and find. Unfortunately, the hype for this creature didn't last very long because the wolf woman actually disappeared after those first couple weeks and has never been reported to be seen again. There are a few possibilities as to what this creature could have been. Some speculate that it was just a super elaborate April Fool's Day prank because remember, this was the first few weeks of April, so it's very possible that the first sightings were on April 1st, and then people made up stories to go along with that story report over the next couple weeks. That would explain why it was such a bizarre creature, and that would explain why it just disappeared pretty much as soon as it appeared. It was just gone. Others say that it was just a bear or a wolf with mange, and looking at a bear or a wolf with mange, yeah, I could understand how somebody might mistake that for a half human, half animal creature. I mean, that looks fucking scary. Especially if these people were telling the truth and these mangy animals were chasing them around town in the dark. Like, yeah, I can understand how a rumor might spread of a creepy cryptid if there was a bear with mange running around attacking people. Either way, this cryptid is kind of goofy and makes me think of that one scene from Invasion of the Body Snatchers with the dog. If you've seen that movie, you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. This cryptid, although admittedly kind of goofy looking in the official artwork that appeared in the paper, this cryptid actually gets a pretty decent score from me. I like the idea of humanoid creatures running around in the night, you know? It's really spooky. That being said, I actually rate the Wolf Woman of Mobile at around 6 out of 10. It's a pretty decent cryptid. And the council seems to agree with me because it scored a 7.08 out of 10. Some stellar comments include, "She can stalk me any day. Bro, she just like me for real, and I'd let her eat me if I was lost in the woods." Smiley face emoji. Well said, council. Well said. I'm sorry that I didn't have many fun, interesting cryptids to go really in-depth in. Surprisingly, I had a lot of trouble finding interesting cryptids for a lot of the southern states that I've been looking at so far, specifically Alabama and Arkansas. They don't have a lot of cryptids. They have a lot of ghost stories, but those are really boring. The White Thang and Wolf Woman were the only cryptids that I could really get myself interested in and write, you know, somewhat extensively on. Everything else was just like, ugh. But I am still going to cover them in this honorable mention section, so here we go. First is the legend of Huggin' Molly. Huggin' Molly is a 7-foot-tall ghost woman dressed all in black from the city of Abbeville. She roams the streets of Abbeville looking specifically for children who have stayed out past dark. If she finds one, she runs up to him like this, gives you a big hug, and just screams in your ear. That's it. Next is the Walker County creature. There's a documentary about this unknown creature slash cryptid. It was made back in 2015 by Animal Planet, and I didn't watch it because it's probably fake and it doesn't look good. According to the 3 men that were interviewed in this documentary, they all had terrifying, is that a word? With a creature that was described to look like a bear and gorilla had a baby. Absolutely terrifying. And I don't know how I can just not mention this. The monster pig. This one isn't a monster in the sense that you're thinking. Like, no. This is real. I'm talking about the 1,000-pound pig that was shot to death by an 11-year-old boy in 2007. What? The boy was out on a hunting trip with his father when they saw this big-ass pig, like 1,000 pounds. That's a big pig. If you look at the picture, like, that's a lot of bacon. Instead of running like a normal person would, this kid pulled out his 50 caliber, I don't even think it was I think it was just a pistol, like a 50 caliber fucking revolver, and just started shooting at it. Chased it around for 3 hours until it was dead. There are a lot of things wrong with that story. First of all, why does an 11-year-old have a gun? Second of all, animal, no pig especially, should grow that big. Jesus Christ. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, my friends.
I've done a little bit of digging into Hogzilla. It's called Hogzilla. I've done a little bit of digging into Hogzilla, and apparently it could have possibly been a overfed, domesticated fucking hog named Fred. It also could have been less than 1,000 pounds, and there's just a whole lot of contradictions with the story, apparently. So yeah, I just wanted to hop in here again and say that Hogzilla, or Fred, might not have been a 1,000-pound pig, might not have solely been killed by the 11-year-old boy, as he and his father claimed. Keep that in mind, I suppose.
I hope you enjoyed this short video of the creepy cryptids of Alabama. These scary little fellas. I enjoyed making this video, like, a lot. I love cryptozoology. I love learning about creepy little dudes. I think that they're so cool. For some reason, though, Alabama doesn't have a lot of cryptids. Arkansas doesn't either. I'm pretty sure Alaska is next, and they have a lot of, like, Native American tales. So next video will have a lot more beef to it. But if you're from Alabama and I missed one of the spooky dudes that you like, feel free to comment. I love learning about these. I love cryptids. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. If you eventually want to hear about the cryptids from your state, I am going to be going down the list, alphabetical order, all 50 states, talking about creepy dudes. I'll be posting these videos at least once a month. Depending on how busy I am, I might even get them out once a week. I really do enjoy doing these videos. Thanks for watching.